purpose of this little talk is hope to give us encouragement. And remember, the great oak trees start their lives as small acorns. So it is with all such things. They have to start as something much smaller, then eventually they will become. Even Jesus tells us of the mustard seed, which grows to be a tree. So also it is that a small work, like I heard recently on the news, about 2 men and a dog, to quote the narrative, that started to brew a little beer for their local community pubs, entered it into a competition, and before they knew it had orders from Tesco's and a worldwide customer base. People in all walks of life have often displayed great feats of ingenuity, resolve, and courage. From the dawn of time, we see many instances of amazing accounts of overcoming difficulties in such adverse circumstances that it can often put us to shame. These are, after all, great men and women of strength and character. Really, let's see a couple. Starting biblically, I've looked at Gideon, Elijah, Peter, Thomas, Ananias, and Esther. In the story of Esther, it involves someone from a humble origin who is a Jewish exile, who rises to become queen. According to the accounts, when Esther's parents died, she was adopted by her father's brother Mordecai, who raised her as his daughter. Later he became a courtier in the Persian king Ahasuerus. More importantly, in her royal position, she is able to save her people, the Jews, from a genocide designed and planned by a scheming court figure named Haman. Ananias we know very little about. We come across a few Ananiases in the scriptures, but this particular one we find minding his own business, generally keeping out of the way of the wrath of Saul of Tarsus, who was bloody-mindedly and systematically eradicating anything to do with what was then known as the Way, later known as Christianity. Then suddenly, out of the blue, comes a direct order from the Lord to go to this very man and heal him from his blindness, setting Saul, as Paul, on his road to spread the very word that he was commissioned to eradicate. Smith Wigglesworth was born on the 8th of June 1859 in Menston, Yorkshire, England, to an impoverished family. His father did manual labour for very little pay. As a small child at 6, he was pulling turnips alongside his mother in the fields to help with the family income, and at 7 he was working in a wool mill 12 hours a day. His parents did not know God. During his childhood he was illiterate, yet this man went on to become one of the most well-known evangelists, become healer, preacher of his time. With this short talk, I hope I can encourage us all to look a little further into the future as we move into this new year. By the way, if anyone wants to look up the others, I didn't go through it all because I was falling asleep trying to read it all on the computer, and my eyes sort of don't work so well these days. Anyway, the oak, you see, is what we are aiming for here. Although at present we are still in the acorn stage, and we've been that way for a long time, to continue the analogy, we have started to germinate, but we need to move firmly pressed into the ground so that our roots may spread and gain a greater hold on the ground that we have been given in which to grow the King's tree, so that all who pass this way will find a place of shelter and rest from the rigours of life, and even a new life in Christ. It can often be the case that just as a small venture, work, project, business, etc., might falter or fail because of some unexpected event or circumstance, so too can an acorn fail because of something that affects its viability, like being broken up, turfed up, or even maggots eating away at its heart, not letting it gather enough strength to complete its journey. maturity. So it withers and dies. This must not happen to our acornic work. Sorry, that's a word I just made up. So then, let me encourage you. As you may all know, we have a youth work on Thursday and Friday, which is in itself an encouragement. We had some good responses to the coffee morning on Wednesday, and the flyers for that event were delivered by some of our older children. There are other encouragements too, but I'll leave that for others to deliver. Sorry if I'm just reading this. This is, as I said, very normal for me. On a personal basis, I would just like to say that everyone here has been and is an encouragement to everyone else who is labouring to get this acorn to grow. And remember, it's a king's tree. Just in case anyone is going through some difficulty or tough time, I have added to this a few things that come from some great people at some stage of their lives. For instance, President of the United States of America, Franklin D. Roosevelt, 32nd President. When you come to the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang it. Tie a knot and hang onto it. Alexander Graham Bell, Scottish inventor, scientist, also the man who invented the telephone, if anyone remembers, says, when one door closes, another door opens, but we so often look so long and regretfully upon the closed door. We do not see the ones which open for us. Martha Washington, First Lady of the United States. The greatest part of our happiness depends on our dispositions, not our circumstances. The Apostle Paul shows believers we don't have to be perfect for God to use us. We just have to be willing. And in 2 Corinthians 4, 16, 18, so we do not lose heart, though our outer self is wasting away, our inner self is being renewed daily. For this light, momentary affliction, is preparing us for an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison. As we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen, for the things that are seen are transient or temporary, but the things that are unseen are eternal. Remember this, the evil man has no future, the lamp of the wicked will be put out. Proverbs 24:20. Now there's a lot we can learn from the life and ministry of the Apostle Peter. His passion for the gospel was sometimes overshadowed by the shortcomings of his nature. Peter contended for the glory no matter how often he missed it. Who else would put on his clothes to take a swim? How could he not know that walking the streets till he got to his friend's house was actually real? And to cap it all, who could make a completely accurate statement, then immediately follow it up with something that would prompt the King of Kings to look at him straight in the face and say, "Get behind me, Satan. You are an offence to me, for you are not mindful of the things of God, but of the things of men." One wonders what Peter thought about that. Just one last thing to say concerning our acorn. The heart of acorn has to be healthy and true and protected against the maggot. So too must we protect our hearts and not let the maggot of whatever God has shown us to deal with in our hearts take hold. If there is anything causing angst or sorrow, fear or grief, even worry or doubt in our hearts, it can eat away at us until it stifles that precious growth that we all need in our walk with Christ. That growth also feeds into the iconic work of the church and can stifle its growth. Remember also that the heart of the acorn has in its necessary spark of life that makes the whole thing work. So too is Christ in our hearts, the necessary spark of life that our lives need to make the church work and grow. Don't let any maggots in. It has to be said that Peter is my favourite disciple. who, by the way, was what this little chap was originally supposed to be about, but instead it became what it is. And I hope that it has been of some value to someone here. God bless and keep you all. Keep nurturing Acorns.